Hello, and welcome to the Feelings Pod. My name is Sabrina Amina. I'm your host. We talk about feelings here, and we end with a brief mindfulness practice. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. Today's topic is on guilt, and I've mentioned this in previous episodes. As we move through the winter months, I'm recording the emotions that kind of come up and I feel moved to speak about during this time. I am going through a particularly difficult season of life, not just because it's winter, just well, it's that's just simply where I'm at right now. So as a little project, as kind of, I think it's actually a way of helping me move through some of these things, and hopefully through sharing my experiences and reflections on these emotions, um, you'll feel something. Maybe you'll feel less alone or more connected or seen or validated or infuriated. Um, so guilt is something that I feel like has been plaguing me my whole life because I feel like in my family, my upbringing, um, not just my immediate family, but like probably going back generations, because this stuff, it kind of gets passed down, right? I feel like guilting, shaming, and blaming was kind of a way of keeping control of other people. Um, Certainly keeping control of children and keeping them in check, and giving these warnings, or I'm trying to think of kind of a specific instance, but I think it was such like a normal operating procedure that it's hard to really pinpoint. Now as an adult and after having been through years of therapy, I recognize it. I recognize when somebody is trying to get an outcome, a specific outcome from me using guilt or blame or shame. Um, and I have far better boundaries now. But, when you're a kid growing up and your caretakers don't allow you to do something or forbid you from doing something because it will shame the family or cause them emotional harm or damage in some way, you start to feel like your actions are inextricably linked to everyone around you. And to some extent, that's true. But carrying the responsibility and the worry of how everything you do and say, every decision you make, and worrying that you're going to hurt someone in some way is very that's a heavy burden to carry. And I've learned, thankfully, and I try to teach this to my daughter, because I see it in her as well. I see her wanting to take responsibility for other people's feelings. So what I've learned is I have to take full responsibility of my own feelings. If an interaction with another human brings up a feeling of guilt in me, is the person actually trying to guilt me, or is that my own kind of conditioning? Is that my own kind of old beliefs? Like, that are so ingrained that are kind of hard to unlearn unless you kind of are really looking at them. Yeah, I'm wondering if any of this makes sense because I'm also trying to make sense of it. But as an adult, a place where guilt comes up so much for me because I'm an educator and I teach and I show up for young people every day and I lead classes and I teach and is when I'm sick or when I need to take a day away from school, away from my students, away from my teaching, away from the classroom. Oh my goodness, the guilt that I kind of go through, the back and forth of like, do I really need this? Is this something I can just push through? And yeah, I can always push through some. And I think all of us have to some degree, can always kind of push through and do what we need to do. I think that's part of living this life that we do. But also taking a look at what are my needs? What do I need here? And is really doing something to take care of my own needs. Does that warrant this tremendous feeling of guilt of not of calling in sick to work, right? And I know this is kind of a shared experience. I know I'm not the only person who works and kind of struggles with taking days off. But it's also interesting. I think I read a post or something the other day that I think an American was talking about her experience with a job in the Netherlands. She got a job in the Netherlands, and she was asking about, well, how many sick days do I get? And she kind of got a funny look, and they were like, well, as many as you need. If you're sick, you just gotta take care of yourself. So imagine that. Like, imagine just like not having the pressure to go through the mental gymnastics of being like, am I really that sick? Do I actually need to call out of work today? And just having the safety and comfort of knowing, yeah, it's okay for me to take care of myself when I'm sick. Of course it is. Like, why wouldn't it be? So I'm getting better at just the guilt comes up all the time. But I think I'm better at just recognizing it and giving myself some compassion and tenderness and saying, it's okay for you to take care of yourself today. It's okay for you to rest. It's okay for you to take a break. It's okay for you to show up just for you today. Guilt is tricky. It's been very tricky for me. Yeah. So another way that guilt kind of comes up in my day-to-day life is sometimes my daughter will say, well, when you get mad at me, it makes me really sad. And I love that she shares that with me. I love that she kind of says, you're making me sad. So I guess I just so what I do is I try to explain to her, well, yeah, mom gets mad sometimes and that's okay. And it's okay for you to get sad sometimes. And then I say, like, I explain the reasons why I'm getting mad and just say, just affirm, my love for her and that I'm not getting angry to make her sad. And I'm sorry for making her sad if, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but I'm glad that I'm having these conversations with my 6-year-old to help her kind of make sense of her own feelings. And I think it's helpful for me to recognize, well, we're all responsible for our emotional landscape and how we manage it, And I think it's important uh, for us as adults to be able to model that for younger folks. And just having an awareness of when you're making decisions based on how other people are going to feel or respond or react. And I'd like to say I'm doing that less and less. And that's certainly something I'm proud of. I don't think I have any guilt about it. Because ultimately it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of love for myself. And I find the more and more that I'm able to cultivate this love of self, my capacity to offer love for others grows, and I'm so much more honest when I'm able to say no, and not take on responsibility for how somebody responds to my no. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say about guilt for this moment. Just kind of a short little reflection. I will say it helps a lot for me to talk about it. So I think it's a shared experience. I mean, I know it's a shared experience. I know I'm not the only one who feels guilt, and of course not. But I think we all navigate it in different ways, and I think it's really powerful to look at these darker, heavier, more challenging emotions, because wow, when we're able to do that, it like diffuses it. It really diffuses it. So let's just get into our practice for today. Find a comfortable seat, or if you can lie down. Make yourself as comfortable as possible in this moment. And close the eyes if that's comfortable for you. Tune into your five senses and just notice your surroundings with your senses. Tune into the sense of sound, any sounds in your immediate environment. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. And perhaps notice the sounds just beyond the room or space that you're in right now. Maybe it's outside the building. Notice how far your sense of sound reaches. What's the farthest sound that you can hear right now? Take a deep breath in and let it go. And if your eyes are closed and you're noticing your sense of sight, what do you see in your mind's eye when the eyes are closed? Take a deep breath in and let it go. Bring your attention to your sense of touch. Notice the temperature in the room. Notice the texture of the clothes on your body. Notice the weight of gravity holding you in place in your seat. Notice the pressure on the parts of your body that are being supported by the cushion or chair or bed. Notice how your feet are feeling, your legs, your hips, your belly. Notice the chest and the heart space. Notice the shoulders and the neck. Notice the muscles in your face. Kind of let them soften. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And bringing your attention and awareness to your sense of taste, your taste buds in your mouth. You may not be eating or drinking anything at the moment, but imagine your favorite food. Imagine the smell of it. Imagine the taste of it. Imagine the texture of it when you put it into your mouth. Notice if tuning into your sense of taste brings your awareness to your hunger, or if you're feeling satiated. Maybe you've eaten something recently that you can still taste. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Notice the sense of smell. Maybe you don't really smell much in your space right now. Just notice. Maybe there's a pleasant smell. Or maybe there's a smell that's not so great. Just observe all of it. Just notice. Take a deep breath in. And let it go. And when you're ready, as you allow your eyes to flutter open and the light to come back, let your gaze fall on something in the room that makes you smile. Thanks for showing up for yourself today. I hope you have a beautiful day.